I woke from a restless slumber to a faint sound. Not the creak of old floorboards or the whisper of wind against the glass. It was the sound of someone breathing, too close, too deliberate. My eyes stayed shut, but her scent filled the air, overpowering, artificial, a fragrance I once adored now twisting my gut in the darkness. A dim glow danced across my closed lids, the light of a phone screen. The quiet click of a camera shutter sounded, paused, then clicked again. The mattress shifted as she settled back. Her whispered words just audible, reciting a string of digits. 16 in total. My digits. I kept my breathing even, controlled. When her phone's glow dimmed and she glided out of bed, I counted her steps toward the kitchen. Papers shuffled softly. My wallet, when she returned, was slightly askew, just a hair to the left, but enough to expose her. She slid back beside me, her breaths easing into a steady cadence. Mine remained unchanged. Sleep evaded me for the rest of the night. By morning, $90,000 was gone. The transactions were precise, calculated. A lavish spending spree across high-end boutiques, hotels, and 2 first-class tickets to Europe, all boldly in her name, no attempt to conceal. At breakfast, she hummed gently, plating eggs, toast, and coffee with rehearsed precision. "Sleep well?" she asked, her tone airy. I noticed her hands. No ring today, a choice, not a mistake. Her smile lacked its usual glow, empty. She thought I'd be predictable, paralyzed by her betrayal, until she was long gone. She was wrong. I said nothing, asked nothing, only brushed a kiss on her forehead before heading to work. Her skin felt cold against my lips. That evening she was gone. No note, just a closet half emptied and the faint trace of her perfume, lingering like an unwelcome ghost. The week crawled by. I stuck to my routine. Work, sleep, repeat. Outwardly, I was steady. Inwardly, I was tracing her every move. Bank statements, location data, and emails routed to a hidden folder she didn't know I'd uncover mapped her trail. The receipts painted a picture of indulgence. Paris, Milan, a villa in southern France for 2. The second person was a man, barely visible in her social media, always hovering at the edge of the frame, as if meant to go unnoticed. I memorized his features. Her return flights were booked under her maiden name, a deliberate step to cut all ties with me. A flawless escape, she believed. But she'd left something better than closure. A trail, funded by a card I hadn't touched in years, one she didn't know was long canceled, flagged for fraud. On Thursday, the fraud department called. Every charge she'd made was logged but unfunded. The card was useless for months. No money had left my accounts. The shops, hotels, and airlines would soon demand their dues, and it would all crash down on her. Her passport, her name, her extravagant escape would soon unravel into a ruinous error. I waited for her return. She walked into the kitchen, wrapped in a coat from one of her Paris receipts, her wrists gleaming with jewelry still pristine from store shelves. She tossed her bag onto the counter, unzipping it to reveal silk, leather, and gold. "Nice upgrade, thanks to you," she said, her voice dripping with scorn. I smiled. "Check your email," I told her. Her expression shifted as she read the forwarded messages. Payment reversals, merchant disputes, fraud alerts, all linked to her name. Her travel companion was entangled too, tied by their shared reservations. She started, but I stopped her. I didn't spend a cent. Her eyes scanned the list of charges, flagged accounts, and warnings of potential arrest if debts went unpaid. The coat seemed to drag her down now. She looked for anger in my face, something to confront. I gave her nothing. "You tricked me," she whispered. I shook my head. "You brought this on yourself. I just let you finish it." Silence settled, broken only by her rapid breaths. I didn't watch her pack. I didn't care where she'd go next. The coat, the jewelry, those would likely be sold soon, perhaps for legal fees or bail. The house felt lighter, the air no longer thick with her scent. The truth was clear. She expected me to rage, to break, to beg. But in those 7 days she was away, I learned something. Anger is a treasure you don't squander on thieves. When the door shut behind her, I stood in the silence for a long while. Then I picked up my wallet, placed it exactly where it belonged, and smiled. The last thing she took from me was the last thing she'd ever claim.